and welcome to Bloggo by Team Goats on the Road. I'm first going to introduce our team. So we have Alex, Duncan, Joe, Eleanor and myself, Gary, all individual goats with individual dreams and aspirations coming together to make this project. So first of all, why Bloggo? So we say it's a slog to make a blog. Traditional blog websites are usually quite static. They have no visual representation of your travels. They're usually quite hard to navigate through pages and destinations, and there's also no social interaction or very limited social interaction on their sites, which is where Bloggo comes in. So Bloggo uses all the fundamental elements of a traditional travel blog with some added bonuses as well. The first of these is the visual aspect. So you're able to put pins on a map and show your progression as you travel over the globe. It gives you the option to explore other users, so you can see where users have been and what they've done in these destinations to give you inspiration for future travel. There's also a social aspect, so you can look at other users, you can comment on their blogs and get some interaction in that way. So just briefly how we got started on the project. So we used an agile framework and daily scrum meetings with a rotating scrum master, so everyone got a chance for a bit of leadership within the group and to get their views across in that way. We also used a Kanban Trello board, so we had a to-do list currently in progress, and once these were complete we added them to the done folder. And we used a wireframe using Balsamiq, so we created the basic design and functionality of the website before we got started with coding, and we actually did quite well and managed to stick with this basic framework throughout the project, which we was quite happy with. So now I'm going to hand you over to Eleanor and Joe, who are going to do a demonstration of Bloggo.
Thank you, Gary. Let's have a look at Bloggo then. The first thing we see when we enter the app is a registration form, which links to the login form for users who are already registered. Authentication is managed through Firebase, which Alex will talk about in a bit. Users can also stay signed in after their first login. We then land on the homepage where a user can quickly add a new trip while on the go. Bloggo is organizing trips and destinations, with the trips being the entire holiday and the destinations being each visited location. Once we have uploaded some basic information about our trips, including the title, a short summary, and the dates, we can move on to our destination page. Each trip can have as many destinations as we want. The destination form is linked to the Geocoding API, which responds with the results matching our search and allows us to collect all the information needed to populate our interactive trip map. We can select the dates of our stay and, crucially, add a blog post and as many pictures of our holiday as we want. From the form, we can click directly to go to trip, but we're first going to look at our uploaded trips. The Trips and Explore sections show a collection of respectively our own trips and all of our friends' trips. Once we click on our chosen trip, we can learn more about the visited destinations, locate them on the map, and click on the markers to open an info pop-up window. We're going to navigate to Bali and find out a bit more about it. Here we have a carousel of the uploaded pictures created with React-native-snap-carousel, followed by an editable blog post and our places cards, which a user can create by opening a model component to add more information and links about places to eat, to sleep, and to visit. We also have a comment section, which is updated live and enables users to interact with each other's content and stay in touch with their friends. Duncan posted a comment while we were recording, which you can see come up. Hey Duncan! I'm now going to hand over to Joe.
You can also delete your destinations and trips here. Another feature of the app is the Explore page, where you can view other users' travel history. The trips list defaults to most recently added first, but you can also choose to order them by date. When a user selects a trip from this list, they are taken to the single trip page for the other user's trip. A user can interact with this page in the same way as they do their own, other than not being able to delete anything. They can navigate to a single destination by selecting it from the list and view the other user's photos and blog for that destination. The user can also post comments here. By clicking on another user's name, the user can navigate to their profile page, which features another interactive map. This map highlights the countries that the user has visited in red. There are also travel stats on this page, such as number of countries visited, number of continents visited, number of trips, and percentage of global countries visited. On your own profile page, you can upload or change your profile picture, which is visible to other users. And that was Bloggo, so I'm now going to hand over to Alex, who's going to talk about the back-end tech that we use for this project.
We needed a back-end system that could not only handle authentication, but also be used as a data access and storage. For authentication, we decided to use Firebase by Google. The information available to integrate Expo for React Native with Firebase was somewhat inconsistent, but we managed to integrate using the settings for Android apps. One of the upsides of using Firebase authentication, however, was that the user data was stored on Cloudstore, Google's answer to a NoSQL database, which is simple to use and was a perfect excuse to learn a new technology that we hadn't already used in the back-end part of our course. We used Firestore to create all data requests across the app and found Snapshot, a pre-built function offered by Firestore, incredibly useful, allowing us to get live updates of our database, making optimistic rendering easier to implement. A great example of this would be our comments section on our app. When a user commented on a post, Snapshot allowed us to live update the page without making a different request to the database. One major issue that we came across was that our blog was all about sharing memories using photographs. However, each Firestore doc is only 1 megabyte in size, useless for a 36 megabyte image. To overcome this, we made use of a cloud storage system called Cloudinary, a platform providing cloud-based image storage services, and when used with Expo Image Picker, enabled us to send the base64 code to an image to Cloudinary, which returns only a URL, making it easy to store hundreds of images. A few smaller issues we came across was that we spent hours on the image carousel, finally realising it needed a modified node module. We had a few dramas regarding the logout button not navigating to the logout screen and the drop-down button not behaving, but we managed to fix these slight bugs with careful pair programming. Over to Duncan for the front-end part of the tech stack.
Because our project was intended to be a mobile app, we decided on using Expo and React Native. Expo allowed us to easily set up and test our app on our phones using Expo Go. While it took some getting used to, the React Native components were fairly intuitive and made development of the front end quite simple in that regard. Because the interactive and customised maps was such an important part of the overall product, we had to be sure that we used the right tool for the job. For this reason, we used React Native Maps. While we had originally planned to use a different library, we discovered that it was incompatible with React Native. React Native Maps allowed us to achieve our goal of building map components that feature markers pinpointing user destinations and coloured polygons highlighting countries that users have visited. And of course, we needed a way for users to add the trips and destinations. This is where the React Native Searchable dropdown came in. The search bar makes a call to the OpenCage Geocoder API, displays the results matching the search, and stores the full destination data, including geographical coordinates, to our database. This technology did not come without its difficulties. From the countless issues with heavily nested GeoJSON data, making thousands of unintentional API calls, and mix-ups with coordinates that placed European countries off the Somalian coast. And over to you, Gary.
So that is Bloggo. I think it's worth saying at this point about the teamwork we've used throughout the project. So we've all worked incredibly hard. I think we've managed to stay organised and we've communicated really well throughout the project. But more than that, it's been such an enjoyable experience. I think we've worked really, really well as a team and managed to stay smiling and laughing throughout, which has been one of the most important things for me personally. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching our presentation as much as we enjoyed making Bloggo, and thank you very much for listening. Bye bye.